10 million, let me understand, 10 million illegal alien invaders came into this country in 4 years, 10 million.
Yeah.
We had a Republican bill that came out, in the best case they had, they're going to allow 2 million more in a year until we could even have any kind of controls. The mindset in this country for 25 years is you can't stop it. It's impossible to stop. Don't give me the deportations yet. Let's just talk about the guy in 60 days shut down the border. That in and of itself is worth an entire 4 years.
Sure.
I'm not. You are, because you said, well, let's go to the deportations.
I'm looking for the critique.
You're not critiquing. All you're doing is mouthing inanities from the left. That's just an inane. Okay.
This isn't a criticism from the left. I would say this is a criticism from the right, which is he is deporting. The number is something like 117,000 that he's deported in the first 100 days. If he would carry that on for a year, he would be under the amount that Biden deported in the first year.
It's not a linear set of math. Let me help you out here. In the reconciliation, first off, in the Biden situation, this was not chaos. This was an organized effort by the way that they worked with the NGOs, the way they funneled some of the money through USAID, the way that the business interests helped them, the corporate interests helped them. This was an organized thing to get as many people into the country, and some as deep into the country with the app and the flights and everything like that as possible, to make sure they're impossible to dig out. We know we have, and by the way, we probably have 25 or 30 million as Homan talks. I am just simply talking about the people that came in from the day Biden showed up to the day Biden left, 10 million.
Yeah.
If you look at the reconciliation bill, it talks about $170 billion that we need to recreate the logistics network infrastructure of ICE. ICE has basically been allowed, it's like a muscle you don't use for 4 years. It's basically been stood down. So clearly, what you have to do is get the worst people out. And what he's done, I think smartly, and this is why he's implored the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to say, look, I'm going to have not just emergency powers, I'm going to actually have war powers here to get this criminal element out of the gangs from Venezuela and from Central America, and we're going to do that immediately. What we're going to do is try to smartly and humanely as possible remove those people. Yes, it's a couple of 100,000. It's not huge yet because you got 10 million, but remember, you have virtually no resources to do this. The $170 billion package, which to me, Mayorkas and these guys should be up on criminal charges for taking apart the infrastructure as it is. So it's all rolling out. It's going to take time. It's 10 million people, and you have to do it in a humane way. So I think they're way ahead of the curve right here. And I am the biggest critic of saying, hey, are we hitting the path? If you look at the critical path in the event horizon, I think they're doing a fantastic job, an amazing job.
Okay, so let me rephrase it then. Let's take your number of 30 million. Is that what Homan said? J.D. Vance certainly said 25 million during the election.
25 or 30, but
15.
Hang on. I'm not worried about the 25 or 30 million. The only people we should be focused on right now are the people that came in here starting on the afternoon of the 20th of January, 2021. That is about 10 million people. 10 million people is enormous. The logistics of getting 10 million people back out of here is incredible. That is going to take, and you got to do it humanely, that is going to take planning, money, resources, and logistics. I think what they're doing is fantastic. It's 100 days. What they have 138,000 people they sent already, some of the worst of the worst. It's fantastic, and it's getting better every day.
Let me ask you about.
Does that answer your question? You still seem troubled.
I think it's a fair point to say that it's only the beginning, and it's
only 100 days.
But I think that if you're serious about even tackling the 10 million number, like you suggest, it's from 2021, at this rate, at the end of this term, it's not going to put a dent in it.
Hang on for a second. Okay. The left, smartly, if I was running the left, what they've done is go to court with all these radical judges and actually try to interfere with him as commander-in-chief. What they're trying to do is raise the stakes to make it so expensive and to take as many media hits as possible to slow down even getting the criminal element out of here. Okay, so that you never get to the 10 million. The 10 million is going to be a test of wills to the American people. What they're trying to say, the business community is going to come in and say, you can't do the 10 million because they're adding 1 or 2% to GDP, because every penny they get, they spend on consumer goods. Wall Street's going to come back and say, well, you can't take them out because they've actually lowered wages for low skilled workers, right? So we can't move these guys. So you're going to have every element come in and argue for that. That's why this is going to be a test of wills of what happened. And right now, the left, by using the courts, and I think in using the courts illegitimately, and this is why I even saw a judge arrested the other day, that they hope to slow us down. This is going to take money, resources, determination. President Trump reiterated last night at his rally, and he reiterated again in the cabinet that all 10 million are going home. They're all going to go. So it's monumental. Nobody in history, I don't believe, at least since in some sort of modern times, has ever taken 10 million people that are in the country living and actually remove them. That's the process we're in. It's a monumental process. And President Trump is committed, as the American people are committed, to do it in a humane, firm yet humane way.
Yeah, well, we certainly agree that it's monumental, and I think that's a fair enough response. I want to look at geopolitics, if I may, and particularly interested because I've really found your analysis of the sovereigntists versus the globalists fascinating, and it's hugely inspired my outlook on the world, particularly your Oxford Union speech from a few years ago. So with that in mind, I guess what might be the fun question before I think the harder questions is, Mark Carney's just been elected in Canada. Is this a victory for the globalists?
You know, Mark Carney's the classic Goldman Sachs guy, right? Flits around country to country, from England to Canada. I think it's not, I don't think it's a victory for the globalists. I think, and look, President Trump may have been gaming the system. I just look at it as a lack of reality of the Canadian people. The Canadian people have a crisis that they're going to have to address. Number one, besides the break-off provinces in Alberta and Saskatchewan, others that are resource rich and are not happy with the current arrangements. It's really about the situation, about the integrated economy of the United States and what's really going to happen with tariffs and trades and bringing things back, particularly so much of the automotive industry they have. They shouldn't assume that that's going to be there forever. They just shouldn't. Number two, and I think more importantly, to avoid in the Arctic, the new great game, right? The new power struggle of the great game of the 21st century. They should be very concerned vis-a-vis Russia and the Chinese Communist Party that they're not the next Ukraine. They are going to have a territorial, movement by the Chinese Communist Party, at least, into their northern territories in the Arctic. Right now, they're in a dominion status or aligned with the English-speaking countries of the British Empire. There's no money there to defend anybody. Britain can't defend itself. And so they're going to have to make a decision over the next couple of years. Mark Carney's the typical kind of glad-handing globalist that just gives you more of the happy talk. So the people of Canada, look, they made their decision, and we'll see how it played out. You should understand also when we talk about a populist nationalist movement that's expanding all the time with Bolsonaro in Brazil and Orban in Hungary and Nigel Farage in the United Kingdom and Alternative for Deutschland, Pierre is not really a populist. He's a career politician. He trash talked Trump. He's never a guy anybody's ever asked for to come to CPAC. I've never had him on the show. I've never had anybody come to me from Canada and say, you got to get this. He's kind of a phony populist, right? He even lost his own district. So I think in Canada, it's a situation that Canadian people are saying, hey, what's this new relationship with Canada? Why is Trump all over us? I think it's a reaction to that. But I believe that you're going to see over the next couple of years a further rejection of the Trudeau-type policies that Mark Carney, and Carney's your classic, Goldman Sachs globalist glad-hander. Yeah. That's not going to be able to make decisions, so we'll have to see. But I would keep an eye on two things. Number one, Alberta and Saskatchewan. I just don't think those Western provinces, those Western territories there's something's going to happen internally to Canada. And number two, this Arctic Great Game is something they got to pay attention to. The prime minister, the premier of China came 10 years ago or 15 years ago in 2010 to Canada and said, hey, we're an Arctic power and you guys better get a heads up. I think the Canadians have their heads in the sand for the territorial integrity of themselves in the Arctic.
Yeah. Thanks for watching this clip from the Winston Marshall Show. You can click here to watch the full episode. And for more clips like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, be well.